This 17 News at Noon podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Noon podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Well, good day. I'm Elena Rusk. We are taking a look at the latest on the disastrous floods that struck the county back on March 10th, as officials are keeping a close eye on our hillsides and our waterways with more rain on the way. Kern County Fire announced yesterday the evacuation order for Wofford Heights, Kernville, Wasco Pond, and Poso Creek have been lifted, allowing residents to return to their homes there after about a week and a half away. The Calgary tract evacuation order has been downgraded to a warning. For residents in those areas, the evacuation center at Kern Valley High School in Lake Isabella, that's still open. The Red Cross confirms that shelter will remain open throughout this next round of storms. And in rural San Joaquin Valley, thousands of people have been forced to leave their homes and businesses as rivers and creeks swell due to recent storms, putting neighborhoods and farms underwater. The Tulare County Sheriff ordering evacuations in the cities of Alpaugh and Allensworth because of a nearby levee breach. And evacuations also underway in nearby Porterville because of erosion and high water levels. And now to your 17 Court Watch. Jury selection is now underway in the trial of a California city couple charged in the deaths of their two adopted sons. Two panels of prospective jurors filled out questionnaires yesterday asking if they had heard of our media coverage of the case against Jacqueline and Trezell West. The two charged with second-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter in the deaths of Orrin and Orson West. There has been a lot of media attention since the boys, ages 3 and 4, went missing more than 2 years ago. Their bodies have never been found. More jury panels are being called in today. This trial is expected to begin next week. And the father accused of inflicting fatal injuries to his 7-week-old daughter will remain charged with murder and child assault after a judge denied a defense motion in court this morning. The defense attorney for Gregory Higgins said the baby girl, who had Down syndrome, suffered her injuries while Higgins performed CPR. But prosecutors said Higgins knew how to hurt his daughter, given her condition, and continued to act in ways that would harm her. The child suffered skull fractures and bleeding on the brain and later died at the hospital. Today, the judge said Higgins already had a preliminary hearing where a judge found sufficient evidence to support the charges and denied the motion to set aside the case against him. Higgins is due back in court April 4th, at which time a trial date will likely be set. And we were expecting a major decision today in the case that we've been following for years. A judge set to decide this morning whether Wendy Howard's case would go back to trial, but that hearing has now been postponed to April 5th. Howard admitted to shooting Kelly Reese Pitts during an argument in 2019, 3 days after she learned Pitts had molested their then teenage daughter. Howard testified she feared for her life when she shot him. A jury acquitted Howard of murder and lesser charges in October, but couldn't reach a verdict on the charge of voluntary manslaughter in the heat of passion. Today's hearing was supposed to determine if the case on that charge would go back to trial or whether that would constitute double jeopardy. We'll continue to follow this case closely and let you know of any new developments. And a woman accused of killing a man early Friday morning in East Bakersfield is due in court today. Investigators say Valeria Galvez shot and killed Jose Antonio Contreras at an apartment complex near Auburn Street and Morning Drive last week. Galvez is being held without bail. Now to our 17 follow-up file. We now know the name of the driver who was killed in a rollover crash on Highway 58 last week. The CHP says 20-year-old Cindy Rosales was driving westbound on the 58 near Bina Road on Tuesday when she lost control and hit the center divider. The car flipped and came to rest on its wheels, but officers say Rosales, who was not wearing a seatbelt, was ejected from the car. Investigators say alcohol or drugs are not expected in this crash. And a Bakersfield family is searching for answers after a tragic accident where 2 sisters were burned to death and a third was seriously injured. It happened earlier this month. 21-year-old Karamai Duarte, along with 23-year-old Diana Ponce and 15-year-old Jennifer Duarte, crashed into a truck. The car burst into flames, killing Karamai and Jennifer, along with Cleo, the family dog. The father of the victims says he got a call shortly before the crash saying they were being chased by 2 cars on McKee Road. The sisters were on the road because Diana had a paper route and the sisters would help her. Now, anyone wishing to help out the family can do so. They do have a GoFundMe account called the Duarte Ponce family. We have a link to that on our website, kgt.com. You can click on the hot link icon. The family tells us they have still not received the bodies of their loved ones, so funeral services are pending. Well, in other local headlines, the Delano City Council last night tabled a review on a proposal for rent control despite growing calls from angry residents. Now, housing advocates say the average rent for an apartment in Delano is $1,400, adding that high rent prices force Delano families and neighbors out of their home without legal protections. All the while, they say developers refuse to build more affordable units. Council members say they'll review the rent control proposal next month. Dozens of Dignity healthcare workers protesting outside Bakersfield Memorial Hospital yesterday to rally against what they're calling a short staffing crisis. Employees say they have been chronically understaffed since the pandemic began, and they aren't able to give patients the care they deserve. They're calling on Bakersfield Memorial Hospital to address the critical demand through ongoing contract negotiations with their union. The last time the two reached an agreement was back in 2018, 1 year before the pandemic became prevalent. President and CEO of Bakersfield Memorial, Ken Keller, released a statement addressing the protest, writing in part, quote, "We recognize and respect the rights of our employees to participate in today's informational picket. We want our community to know that providing safe, high-quality care is always our top priority." Nurses at Mercy Hospitals of Bakersfield will be protesting today on Old River Road.
Hello, this is Tim Callahan with Clinica Sierra Vista, and we're excited to unveil the Community Health Center of the Future, our comprehensive care center. It's located right across the street from Memorial Hospital. We have every service under one roof, from family medicine, OBGYN care, dental services for adults and children, behavioral health, and much more. So find your way to better care at Clinica Sierra Vista this year at our comprehensive care center. Visit our website, clinicasierravista.org, for the latest on this project. We'll see you soon.
Well, in 17 business news, a local Basque restaurant that's been serving Bakersfield for more than 50 years now has a new owner. Ralph and Maria Salazar say they will continue with the tradition of the great Spanish-French food that has always been served at Chalet Basque, but they want to elevate it with high-quality products and upscale cocktails. They say no major changes will be made, reassuring their loyal customers that the same great food, friendly staff, and family atmosphere are here to stay. And the old Randy's Donuts location on California Avenue now has a new name. It's called Stockdale Donuts. Randy's Donuts, an iconic Southern California company that now has storefronts worldwide, opened its first Bakersfield location in June of 2021, but then suddenly closed this year. And educators looking for a new job or people who want to work in a school setting are encouraged to attend the California Education Employment Fair coming up this weekend. It's happening from 9 a.m. to noon this Saturday at Mechanic Banks Convention Center. 32 Kern County and Central California education agencies will be on hand, recruiting for several classified, certificated, and administrative positions like school site aides, cafeteria workers, bus drivers, custodial staff, teachers, of course, administrators, school psychologists, early childhood aides, school social workers, clerical support, substitutes, and more. Candidates can register on site the day of the event. And the 5th annual Bakersfield Marathon will be racing through town this Sunday, and organizers need your help guiding them through each mile. Active Bakersfield Alliance needs more volunteers to help with registration and packet pickup this Saturday at the Health and Wellness Expo happening at Buck Owens Crystal Palace. They also need more community members on Sunday to help set up and break down the festival at the Kern County Museum, set up to volunteer as course monitors, and to be part of the welcoming crew who greet the runners as they finish the course and return to the museum. Groups and individuals encouraged to sign up now to help on the website bakersfield.run. And you're also invited to join the Kern County Fire Department and dozens of other agencies this Saturday to learn how to prepare for emergencies. This event, including interactive demonstrations like sidewalk CPR and simulated fire extinguishers, plus experiences like the Shake Cottage earthquake simulator and first responder equipment displays. The event will be held on CSUB's Don Hart East Lawn this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2. Well, not a coronavirus headlines, as President Joe Biden has signed a bill declassifying as much intelligence as possible about the origins of COVID-19. This legislation cites potential leaks between research done at China's Wuhan Institute of Virology and the outbreak. The pandemic started more than 3 years ago now. U.S. intelligence agencies are divided over whether the deadly virus came from a lab leak or an animal. Here at home, local health officials say there have been more than 300,000 cases in Kern since the first person tested positive for COVID-19 back on March 17th, 2020. And continuing your 17 Health Watch, a deadly fungus is making its way through nursing homes across the U.S. The CDC saying yesterday the fungus, called C. auris, is becoming a more dangerous public health threat. Officials say it can cause serious illness and death in people who are already sick. It can spread from person to person or by touching contaminated surfaces, and it's resistant to several medications. The CDC says the fungus is spreading quickly due to a lack of prevention and poor conditions in nursing homes, and it's been reported in more than 30 countries. But in lighter news, a recent study finds wearing socks to bed may be the key to getting a good night's sleep. That's according to the CEO of Mattress Next Day. In the run-up to bedtime, the body slowly winds down, lowering its core temperature. To do this, the body sends heat from its core to the hands and feet at night. But having cold feet interferes with this process and ultimately disrupts that sleep-wake cycle. So, wearing socks to bed can help warm up your feet, which can signal to your body that it's time to sleep. Well, happening tomorrow, it is time to clean out your pantry, or maybe you can go for an extra grocery store trip and donate to the annual Golden Empire Gleaners Food Drive here in partnership with KGET. Because the Cal Fresh food program ended in February, the need to feed those in our community is bigger than ever. The Gleaners are looking for healthy and hearty foods like canned beans, peanut butter, oatmeal, rice, canned chicken, and tuna. Our food drive taking place tomorrow from 5 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. at Compassion Corner at 22nd and L Streets, right outside our studios here. If you don't have time for that grocery shopping, or if you don't have time to scour through your pantry today, cash donations are always welcome and will be accepted tomorrow at our food drive as well.
The 17 News at Noon podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.